Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for being with me here today. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. Today, just want to share with you my thoughts on what is coming up here in about a month, Black Friday, Record Store Day 2025. Not necessarily the best list I have ever seen for Record Store Day, in particular, even Black Friday. And typically Black Friday is a little bit less than the April Record Store Day, but I've still been able to find 9 or 10 that I'm interested in. Not saying I'll pick them all up, but there's 9 or 10 off the list that I am interested in. So I want to share that with you today. Plus, hopefully that you'll give me some feedback. I'm interested in what you are interested in getting this Black Friday, Record Store Day 2025. What are you after? What's interesting you, if anything? It's not that great of a list, I understand, but I'm very interested to know what you're thinking. Also, I'll also talk with you about my top 6 or 7 Pink Floyd albums, studio albums that they have done. They're my favorite Pink Floyd albums. My number one, and I'll rank them. My number one album might surprise you. Some people would probably think it's one of the more popular ones. Anyway, we'll get into that here as well. Always, if you like what you see, please go ahead and subscribe. I greatly appreciate that. That's great. But most importantly, please leave comments in the comment section below. Love corresponding with you and talking with you, in particular today about Record Store Day 2025, Black Friday, and my thoughts on my favorite Pink Floyd studio albums. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's go ahead and start with the Black Friday 2025 Record Store Day. Okay, Record Store Day 2025, Black Friday, coming up here in about a month. Excited about it. I really enjoy Record Store Day. And actually, for this one, I did it last year too. A local record store near me, and I'll put the link to their website below, is called Three Hive Records. It's in Provo, Utah. And they've got a great system for picking up albums when you're in line waiting for the store to open, or if you happen to get there when the store is open and there's a line, they have someone out there to give you a list of the albums that they have for Record Store Day that you can check off, and they'll go ahead and get everything bagged up, the ones that they still have, and get it all ready for you. So once you get inside the store, you can just go right to the cashier and check out. They've really made it quite nice and efficient and a quick way to get through the line, and it really worked out well. So I'm going to be doing that this Black Friday 2025. I'll be down at Three Hive Records in Provo searching for these records, or at least some of them anyway, that we're going to go ahead and talk about. Well, let's take a look at my list. And as like I said before, I'd really love to hear your comments, not only on what I'm interested in, but what are you interested in? Is there really much there to be interested in? Like we said, it's not a really great list this time, but there's some that kind of piqued my interest, and I want to talk about them with you. The first one is the first one on the list. Take On Me, the 40th anniversary. Great album. I love the music on that album. A lot of great hits on the album that you're already aware of. Super excited to try and acquire that one. That's on the Rhino label. I'll be looking for that one for sure. Next one on the list is America Hearts, their 50th anniversary. That one's done by Friday Music. So I'm really quite interested in that one. I love America. I love their music. They just have fantastic music, I think, from an era that was very dear to me. And so I'm really excited to see if I can acquire that one. And Friday Music has in the past done some pretty good work with sounds, some not so well, but some pretty good. So I'm very much interested in that. The next one on my list is Bill Evans' Portraits at the Penthouse live in Seattle. Now this is on that Renaissance Records label, and I purchased a few of those Bill Evans albums in the past and have been pleasantly surprised with the sound quality. And I'm a big Bill Evans fan. Love jazz piano, love Bill Evans trio typically. He just has great musicians with him, and even his solo stuff is just fantastic. So I'm excited to hear this album, or at least try to acquire it for sure. And the next album on my list is Jazz Sabbath. Have you heard of Jazz Sabbath? They're great. I love these guys. They're just fantastic. It's called Jazz Sabbath Live on the Black Lake label. It's a double album. Hopefully, I can find that one. That's kind of one of the ones that I'm really very much interested in, is trying to acquire that one. Uh, and hopefully I'll succeed. I don't know. The next one on my list is Led Zeppelin, Trampled Underfoot. Now, this is on the Swan Song label. This is a 7-inch, and I'm really interested in it because I'm not really sure what to expect from it. And so it really piqued my interest when I saw it. And so I really kind of want to try and acquire that and see if I can get them. Now, keep in mind, a lot of these albums, as you're all well aware, are very limited numbers. And so some of these are probably not even going to be able to be obtained, because I'm not sure that I'm willing to go down at 3 o'clock in the morning or earlier and stand in line, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I will. Next one on my list for Black Friday 2025 is Joni Mitchell, Rolling Thunder Review. This is on the Rhino label. Excited for that. I love Joni Mitchell. I don't think I have every one of her albums, but I think I have all of her studio albums and even a lot of her collections. She's got just a million albums, and I just love Joni Mitchell. I think she's fantastic. So very much interested in that. Next one on my list is Linda Ronstadt, The Early Years, iconic artist group. It's a double LP. Love Linda Ronstadt. Very excited to try and acquire that if I can actually obtain it, get it. Love Linda Ronstadt. Her music is timeless. At least it is to me. She's just one of the greatest performers ever. Her vocal range is just stunning. And it's just incredible. So excited to get Linda Ronstadt, The Early Years. The next one really kind of piqued my interest, is Seals and Crofts' Greatest Hits, kind of their 50th anniversary. And I've got the album, but I really am interested in this one, just for this plain and simple. It's also on the Rhino label because it has these tracks on it, Get Closer and Sweet Green Fields, that are not on the version that I have, which is, I don't know, back in the 70s or 80s. I don't know what it is, but it's quite old. And so I'm really kind of interested in that and just see how that sounds, if I'm able to, once again, acquire it. Of course, being a Van Halen head, love Van Halen. I'll be interested in the Van Halen Live at Wembley 1995. That also is on Rhino, so hopefully I can snag that and add to my Van Halen collection. I love Van Halen. Great, great music, great hard rock and roll that I love. And the last album that I'm interested in for Black Friday 2025 is T-Bone Walker, T-Bone Blues. That also is on Rhino. It's a 10-inch album. It's a regular 12-inch album plus a 10-inch version, a 10-inch album. So I'm kind of interested in that to see what that's all about. Love T-Bone Walker, love the blues. So I'm excited to see if I can acquire that one as well. There were some other ones, that kind of I looked at, the Tom Petty Greatest Hits album live. There were some others that I thought, maybe if I get there and I see that they might possibly have them, I might consider them. And I'm sure that I won't get these 10. I'm sure that I'll probably end up with just a few of them. As like I say, most of these RSD Black Friday are very limited numbers. So we'll see what I can obtain. Love to hear what you're thinking about. If there's any on the list that you're interested in, let me know what you think about what I'm interested in and that I'll be looking forward to trying to acquire. Love to hear from you. Anyway, that's my list. Black Friday 2025, here in about a month. We'll be seeing what we can acquire and what we can get. Please leave comments in the comment section below about that. Okay, let's jump in and talk about 6 or 7 of my most favorite, and I'm going to rank them, my most favorite Pink Floyd studio albums. So really, this is my list of Pink Floyd studio albums, my favorite. Now, how I became familiar with, like a lot of people probably my age, how I became familiar with Pink Floyd was, of course, the classic album, Dark Side of the Moon. That album, I believe, came out in 1973. What an incredibly classic album. That was an instant classic and one of the albums that's probably sold more than any album in the history of records. Uh, and rightfully so. It's the entire album. You got to listen to it start to finish. It's just that good. But that's how I became really acquainted with Pink Floyd. And then after getting to know that album and then purchasing some of their other ones that they had previously done, and of course the ones that they uh, went on to do later, uh, love Pink Floyd, progressive rock to its absolute finest. They really tell a story within their albums. There's really a meaning to that. But really, for me, growing up, including Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, all of these albums were mood setters. What I mean by that is that they really just kind of take your mind away from whatever it might be back in the day, schoolwork, uh, that kind of thing, whatever type of problems that were I was dealing with at a very young age, which were very far and few between. Um, they just kind of allowed you to lose yourself for a little bit and just kind of just sit back and just absolutely take a little trip without leaving the room, which is really one of the neat things about Pink Floyd. And to this day, I still enjoy listening to Pink Floyd. Not as often as I did before. I will completely admit that. I really kind of moved into a little bit different type of entertainment that I really enjoy. I love jazz. A lot of that jazz is because of Pink Floyd. They have their jazzy type of stuff in that progressive rock type of genre. But I tell you what, they really, really set a mood for me. And they were really a relaxing, uh, kind of mood setting type of music. Let's go ahead and start with I've got seven of them that I'm going to share with you. My favorite seven albums, and I'll rank them right down to number one. And I think number one, I don't know, maybe it'll shock you, maybe it won't. Once again, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me what you think of this list. Let me know what your favorite Pink Floyd albums are. One thing that I've always known about Pink Floyd, before I jump into that, all of their albums were awfully well recorded. And I do mean very well recorded. James Guthrie, and most of the albums that I'm going to be talking about today were mastered by Doug Sax. And so they all sounded great. I mean, always sounded great. The sound quality was always spectacular, and the music was just phenomenal. And that's really what it's all about, is the music. Number seven on my list is Pink Floyd Meddle. I tell you what, this is just a great album. Right on side one, A Pillow of Winds. This is one that you probably want to vet the album out with if you're not familiar with it. Of course, the big track on this album is Echoes, and you got to hear that. You got to listen to that. It's absolutely fantastic if you're not familiar with it. But this is an album that I can sit back and listen to and really get lost pretty good. And I tell you what, it sounds great. This is an original 1971 version of Meddle. And mine is actually it's on the Harvest label. Mine is actually in pretty darn good shape. And really, Pink Floyd albums need to be in good shape because there's so many quiet, then to loud, then back to quiet passages through their tracks and the way that their music is. And so, the record's kind of got to be in good condition. And this one's actually in pretty decent condition considering its age. And it just sounds phenomenal. Incredible, incredible track. Fearless, great sounding track. The guitars are incredible. And then, like I say, Echoes, I think it's like a 24-minute long track. It's an incredible, incredible album. Pink Floyd Meddle from 1971. Number six on my list is Atom Heart Mother. This was actually originally released in 1970. This is the Mobile Fidelity Gold CD that was released in 1994. My vinyl pressing of Atom Heart Mother is really not very good. It's kind of hashed. I've never bothered to track another one down, partly because I have this Mobile Fidelity CD and it sounds really, really, really good. Back in 1994, Mobile Fidelity did a great job. This is a fantastic sounding album. The first track on the album is Atom Heart Mother. It's another 23-minute long track, but oh my gosh, it's just incredible. Tells a story all within itself. Uh, it just starts out the journey very, very well. Musicianship is absolutely stunning throughout. The keyboards, guitars, drums, fantastic. The other song on here, if you're not familiar with the album, is Summer of '68. You got to listen to that album. I think it's probably one of the best on Atom Heart Mother. I think it's incredible. Great keyboards. The vocals are simply stunning on Atom Heart Mother. Uh, like I say, originally from 1970, fantastic sounding album. I have it here on the Mobile Fidelity Gold CD. Okay, number 5 on my list is Pink Floyd Animals. This was released in 1977. This is my original 1977 release of Animals. This is a very political album. I believe it was George Orwell's political fable, if you will, called Animal Farm. It's got some incredibly awesome dogs is the first track that you want to go to on the album. I think it is simply stunning, not only in sound quality, but musicianship. The song is catchy. It's awesome. I absolutely love it. Dogs is something that you've got to take a listen to. Pigs in 3 different ones is another great song, great track and incredible musicianship. The drums and guitars and vocals are superb on this track. Like I say, James Guthrie, Doug Sax, when this was mastered and engineered, they just, like all of Pink Floyd's albums, they just done an incredibly awesome job. It sounds phenomenal. Sound quality is just simply stunning. You're not going to ever have to worry about, uh, you know, not having great sound quality because they all sound great. And this one's no exception. Like it so much, I even actually purchased the 22 remastered by Bernie Grundman that was released 2000, excuse me, yeah, 2022 is when this was released, but it's from the 2018 remix done by Bernie Grundman. And this is actually a little bit better sounding, awfully quieter album than my original. But for some reason, whatever, and I don't know exactly why, but I find myself pulling out my original and listening to it more when I want to listen to this album. It just has a sound that is just, I don't know, maybe it's just a reminiscence of what it sounded like back in the day and the mood it created back then. But I pull up the original when I'm listening to it. So, fourth on my list of incredibly awesome Pink Floyd albums is none other than the 1973 release of Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon. Now, this is my original 1973 release, and as you can tell, let me pull the album out. As you can tell, it's the album cover has had better days. The album itself, the vinyl, is actually not bad. It does have some snaps, crackles, and pops on it, but it does sound really, I don't know, still sounds pretty dang good. It's just not, like it was new, but it still sounds fantastic. It's just a great recording. That's just and on the album, the music on the album, I don't need to really say anything about it because I'm sure if you're familiar with Pink Floyd, you're familiar with this album. This is simply a classic from start to finish. Speak to Me is incredible. My favorite track, I know Money is huge on there, along with every one of these tracks on this album are incredible. But to me, The Great Gig in the Sky is just simply stunning with Claire Torrey's vocals. And the story behind that is just simply stunning. If you look that up, I mean, they really were looking for something to add to this song, basically a piano and so a little bit of vocals here and there, but they really wanted Claire Torrey. They brought her in because she was a session musician and brought her in and just said, hey, this is what we really want. We just want you to just to feel this song and come up with something. We really don't want you to speak words. We want you to come up with something. And what she came up with, in my opinion, is simply one of the best tracks Pink Floyd's ever produced in The Great Gig in the Sky. It's just utterly, utterly incredible. And Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon, I know it's probably their biggest commercial successful album, probably right behind it would probably be The Wall. But I've got many, many copies of Dark Side of the Moon. This is, I believe, let me take a quick peek, a 1984 Harvest CD. Sounds great. I mean, it really and truly does sound great. This here is a 2003 SACD. Really a really good sounding version of the album. I mean, I think it sounds great. This is I believe it's 2021 Analog Productions multi-channel and stereo version of the album, which sounds great. This is the 1988 gold CD on Mobile Fidelity. I've got 2 or 3 copies of that. I don't know why, but it sounds great too. But the version of the album that I listen to the most is the Mobile Fidelity 1981 release of Dark Side of the Moon. And probably the reason that I listen to it more than I do any of the others, and I'll show you a couple more, is it's clean. Yeah, I didn't take care of the original that well. But this one is clean. And when you're paying a little bit more money for I don't know, classified audiophile version of the album back in the day, you took care of it a little bit better. And this is the album that I prefer, and this is the album that I listen to when I want to listen to Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon. I also have here I believe this is the 2022 remastered version by Bernie Grundman. It also sounds really good. It's a good sounding album. I think it sounds fantastic. Not necessarily thinking that it sounds any better than the MoFi, but it does sound fantastic. And then the 50th anniversary version that came out, I think, last year. This is also remastered, I believe, by Bernie Grundman as well. And it sounds great. It's a good sounding album. Sounds super. But like I say, I really prefer to go to the Mobile Fidelity 1981 vinyl version of the album. That's the one I really kind of go to. Maybe it's because I'm used to it. It just sounds right to me. It sounds great. Brings back a lot of great memories of that era and that time. But Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, my 4th favorite Pink Floyd album. Okay, 3rd favorite studio album that Pink Floyd did was none other than The Wall from 1979. It was their 11th studio album. This again was mastered by James Guthrie and engineered by James Guthrie and mastered by Doug Sachs. An incredibly fantastic album. This is really a rock opera. It's just, it starts out, you have to listen to the entire thing. It's just an incredible album. The entire album is fantastic. Sound quality on this original is absolutely stunning. This is a 1979 original pressing, and it sounds simply stunning, in my opinion. It's very well done with right from the get-go. These guys recorded and did things right at the start. It just sounds incredible. Probably, I've got a couple versions of it. I believe this is the remastered version from 2018 by Bernie Grundman. Sounds great. It's a good album. I also have the gold CD on Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs. This sounds really good too. I mean, it honestly and truthfully does. And I do pull this out and listen to it on occasion. As you can tell, I listen to this quite a bit. It's a double CD, excellent sound quality. My favorite tracks on the album are Empty Spaces. It's just an incredible track. And then, of course, Hey You. All of these tracks are very impactful. They have quiet passages. And so your vinyl needs to be quiet if at all possible, and not a lot of scratches, because it kind of detracts from it unless you're listening to it digitally. I still prefer the vinyl version. My original pressing is my go-to. I just think it's simply stunning. Of course, Another Brick in the Wall is incredible. The entire album is incredible. It's a rock opera that Roger Waters basically wrote, and it's incredible. It's just amazing. I was able to see that concert live. What an incredible, what an incredible show that these guys put on in the day. Wish those two could maybe mend fences and get back together, but I'm pretty sure that probably won't happen. Number 3 on my list, The Wall from 1979. At one time, this was probably my number 1 album. It's called Pink Floyd Wish You Were Here. This is released in 1975. It was their 9th studio album. Again, produced, engineered by James Guthrie and mastered by Doug Sax. This version of the album that I've got here is the CBS half-speed mastered version. It sounds awfully incredible. I mean, it just sounds great. This is another one of Pink Floyd's albums, at least it is for me. Start to finish is incredible. Shine On You Crazy Diamond, it's kind of a tribute to Syd Barrett. Welcome to the Machine. Everybody knows that. It's just a great, great track. The musicianship on that track is incredible, as it is on the entire album. The one that I would strongly suggest vetting out if you're not familiar with the album is Have a Cigar. Dynamic vocals it's all just incredible. The song is flat out fantastic. And of course, probably to me, the biggest song on the album, the best song on the album, the one that I love to listen to the most is Wish You Were Here. It's one of Pink Floyd's masterpieces. They've got many. This is one of them, absolutely for sure. Wish You Were Here. But what an incredibly awesome album. And I think the album cover is just simply stunning. Anyway, this is number 2. Can you guess what number 1 is? I wonder if you can. Number 1, to me, my number 1 favorite album that Pink Floyd has ever done came out of 1983, and it's called The Final Cut. This is just a crazy, I'm trying to find the right words, unbelievable journey, if you will. This is one of Roger Waters' masterpieces at me. It was a concept album, anti-war concept, if you will. It was based on the Falklands War. This again was engineered by James Guthrie, mastered by Doug Sax. This is my original 1983 version of the album. Here's the backside of it. It's just one of those albums that is just incredibly awesome. On side 1, the post-war dream, it goes right into your possible past. This is just a very, very good, well-engineered, great sounding album. I just can't tell you how good this album sounds. The entire album. I mean, The Gunner's Dream, Get Your Filthy Hands Off My Dessert's hilarious. Just a short little track. The Final Cut, the title, is actually really good. Southampton Dock starts off with some seagulls or birds you can hear in the background. It's just an incredibly awesome sounding track. The entire album is well engineered, and the sound quality is simply stunning, in my opinion. Now, one of the reasons why this album might have been my favorite, when it was released in 1983, of course, I picked it up quite immediately because at that time, being such a huge fan of Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, 1979, of course, we had The Wall, huge into Pink Floyd, loved this progressive rock type of music that they were doing. But back in 1983, I was in college. And my system at the time consisted of Carver electronics. It was a Carver C1 preamplifier. I believe that was the model number. I'll check and make sure of that. And a Carver M500T amplifier. Now they were being fed, they were actually feeding a pair of ADS L1230 speakers. If you remember the ADS L1200 speakers, the initial ones, they were flat, except on the side that would face on the inside had a slight bevel to it. So the tweeter and mid-range were facing you, but the woofers were facing straight. And the Carver preamplifier that I had a little button and a feature called sonic holography. Many of you that are old like me can remember this. This album with sonic holography was mind-boggling. And I mean mind-boggling. Keep in mind, this album was recorded and mastered incredible, just incredible. The sound quality to this day is simply stunning in my opinion. But boy, you put that sonic holography, and I don't know what that sonic holography was doing. I threw it was adding distortion and everything else on it. But I tell you what, when you did this on Your Possible Past, Roger Waters' vocals on there kind of have a little echo to it. When you had plugged that and pushed that sonic holography and listened to it with that on, I'm not kidding you. You was getting stuff behind you, or it seemed, around you. It was simply stunning. And just the overall quality of the sound was crazy good. Then you add that holographic sound that sonic holography was giving you. This album, I kid you not, I played the living daylights out of this. Surprisingly, to this day, it still sounds pretty good. I did pick up the remastered version of this in 2017 that was done by Bernie Grundman and of course James Guthrie, and it sounds better. It's quieter. It does sound a bit better. But I tell you what, this album has such great memories. And back in those days, I don't know about you guys, but I did this. I would record my albums that I really like on cassette tape so I could take them with me in my car. And I remember experimenting because I just loved how this album sounded with sonic holography. I remember connecting my, it was a TAC 777 cassette recorder player. I remember connecting my preamp up with the preamp outs into my cassette deck and recorded this album with the sonic holography engaged. And it sounded really good in the car. I mean, nothing like what it did on vinyl, obviously, but it sounded really good in the car. And I let other people hear that. And I know I shouldn't be saying this, copyright issues, right? I don't know how many cassette tapes I made of recording this album with that sonic holography for friends. I wouldn't even dare guess how many I did. I did a ton. And I tell you what, it just resonated. And that's probably why when I think of Pink Floyd, this is the album that I think of. I love it. I think the music on here is simply fantastic. It's recorded extraordinarily well. Sound quality is just right from the get-go, start to finish, incredible. That's my top favorite albums that Pink Floyd has ever done. I just, I don't know how many people would have thought, hey, it's going to be the Final Cut's number one, but to me, it's my favorite. It's my go-to of Pink Floyd is the Final Cut. Thank you all so much for watching today. I appreciate you all very much. Please leave comments in the comment section below, not only about Pink Floyd and what you think is their best albums. I'd love to hear from you, or their top number one album, at least from your perspective. But let me know what you're thinking about Record Store 2025 Black Friday. Would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being with me here today. Have a great day.